Hey there everybody, MST3K Forever here, and welcome to the announcement for the last Let's Play we're going to be doing. The last one, possibly ever. Before we get to that though, I'd like to address a few things that we are not going to be doing and why, because a lot of you guys have been suggesting, and a lot of you guys have been hoping for a lot of different things, and I want to explain my reasoning as to why I say no to them. First of all, the most obvious choice, I think, Arrival in Hell 2. Now, why wouldn't I do this for my last game? Well, this is the one that I started out doing. This is the very first Let's Play I ever did, and I mean, I have been meaning to say this for a while, but it's also the one I am most ashamed of, not because of the quality of the work. I had to do that with the tech I had available at the time, and I made massive improvements through that. No, the reason that I am so ashamed of this is because I just ripped this game apart, and there's no reason for me to do that. I bitch about a lot of things in this, and I really shouldn't. First of all, the game was the first game designed by the guy who did it. It was all done by one guy, I believe. He, did the graphics, he did the voice acting, he did all that kind of stuff. But I just tore that game apart, and I feel really bad about it because when I look back at Arrival in Hell 2, he made such improvements to that, and it really shows that he put a lot of work into it. And going back and realizing what he had to work with and everything, and seeing the first one, I realized he put a lot of work into that one too. There were spots here and there that were iffy. There were spots here and there, but then I went back and I realized he redid the game in places and remastered it to meet those complaints so we could make a better product. And I feel really bad about trashing that game so badly because he went back and he fixed a lot of the problems. He redid the designs, he redid a lot of the stuff, and especially he really listened to the fans and really took everything to heart, which is something a lot more than I did at the beginning. But yeah, Arrival in Hell 2, not a bad game. I actually played through the entire thing thinking I was going to rip through this one again, hey, yeah, Arrival in Hell. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this is actually pretty good. It had a few flubs up here and there, a few little, fine pixel hunty kind of things, and like one or two over elaborate puzzles. But I can honestly say this: that is nothing compared to what I've had to put up with Frogwares. Nothing. And that game is free, totally free. Go play it. Go enjoy it. Go have fun. There's even an ending where you end up heading off with the crazy French guy. He brought the crazy French guy back, and you actually have an ending where you can buddy up with him and head out. It's great. I had a lot of fun with that, especially when I found the crazy French guy again. I was like, hey, I know you, my favorite character's back. Who's actually, now it turns out he's actually Mexican. Wouldn't have called that, but he'll always be crazy French guy to me. But I just had a lot of fun with that, and it didn't feel like the right thing to do because I do like that game. I actually do. I didn't think I would. I really enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun. But especially after that, I really wanted to just apologize. I know he probably hasn't watched my channel, but I really do want to apologize for what I did with that first video. And I've fought with myself time and time again, just wanting so badly to just take it down and get rid of it. I don't know why I don't. I really hate that review. I really hate those videos. But they're my first ones. They got the most views. I really want to take them down, but I can't bring myself to. Okay, second one I was going to be doing. Ex Mortis 2, I think, would be the next Ex Mortis 3, sorry, would be the next logical approach. Why don't I do that one? Well, one, it costs money. I don't like the fact that it costs money. I've heard iffy things about it. I've heard it was okay, I've heard it was good, I heard it was bad. I don't know. The other thing is, though, I'm not entirely sure what kind. I know it costs money, so I have to download it, and I'm not sure if Fraps would even work with it or not. If it's a Flash game, which I think it still is, why you have to pay for a Flash game, I don't know. But, again, it was one of those things where I know I've had difficulty with it in the past, those kinds of games, and I don't know. And I also kind of feel iffy about putting that kind of video up, considering that I don't see. It just doesn't feel like the safest bet for me. Plus, I keep pronouncing the name wrong, and you guys seem to like that or hate that, I don't know, but it just didn't seem like the right game to do. Some other things that I thought about doing, real quick here. Cave Story and Aquaria. I thought about doing those. Those are two great independent games, and they're really, really great. Some of the best I had ever seen. Those are actually two of my top games ever, is Cave Story and Aquaria. Why didn't I do those? Well, good game, a good Let's Play does not make. And two, Aquaria is very long. And three, Cave Story is long as well. And I have to really play through it to get the best ending on Cave Story, and I still haven't managed to beat that final area. Because I used up the E-tank before I should have, so that sucks. But with that said, yeah, they just didn't feel like the right thing to do. Some other games you guys advised, BioShock would have been cool, but again, crunch for time, didn't feel like the right thing, especially with everything I've had going. Fear would have been fun, but if I was going to do more Fear games, I want to do all of them. There's no way I have time enough to do that. Some other stuff I wanted to do. Lost Winds for the Wii. A fun game. It's very open, though, and that same problem I have with Aquaria is that it's, again, a very open sort of Metroidvania-style game in that you explore areas as you gain new powers. That goes back to Cave Story and Aquaria as well. The story I like those games, I have fun with them, but they don't feel right for an ending game. There's stuff I wanted to do, but they don't feel right for the last stint. I've got a bunch of other little games here that I thought about briefly and then quickly dismissed. Psychonauts, that game is funny as is. I don't need to really do anything with that. Tokabot hurts me. I still have nightmares of the Toko train. The Sly Cooper games, I'm really getting hyped for Sly 4. Really hyped for that. The Matrix Path of Neo would have been fun. Let's see, Legendary I heard was an interesting game to do an LP. I'm actually watching an LP of that game now, though, instead of playing it. Silent Hill Homecoming was one that I had on my list. Dark Sector, Dark Void. The Dead Space was another one that I heard was actually would be a good one. The Alan Wake DLCs, obviously. Can't get around to doing those, so I have to do the main game. But yeah, all those games and everything that everyone has said, you know, time and time out, you ought to do these, you ought to do these. And I just don't have the time. And I wanted to do more demos, but then I realized that if I was going to stick to the one game I really wanted to do, then I have to do that. So, that said, there is one more game that I feel I need to address. Just one. And that is a game that you guys have been asking for me to do before it came out. You guys were saying, oh, you want to do this at its release, at its announced date. And you guys were all hyped about this, and I said no. First thing I said, no, not going to do this game. You guys have been asking about this for like 2 years. It hasn't even been out yet. The Testament of Sherlock Holmes. I didn't think I'd have to address this problem, but I think you guys keep bringing it up, so I feel like I have to. Why am I not going to do... Why shouldn't I do Testament of Sherlock Holmes? Well, where to begin? First of all, it's a Frogwares game. I hate Frogwares games. I despise Frogware games. 2, it costs money. Why the hell would I pay Frogwares more money to play their piece of shit games? 3, there are no walkthroughs for this game. It came out on September the 25th, stateside. There are 0 walkthroughs. I seriously, out of curiosity, I just looked. I couldn't find any. None. The game is too new. 4, you're supposed to wait 3 months after the release of a game before you do a Let's Play of it. There are some rules to Let's Plays. Not everyone follows them. I try to, but out of respect to the publishers, you wait 3 months after the release to play the game. Well, not to play the game, but to put up the footage of it. You can start Let's Playing it the day it comes out, but you don't put up the footage of it for 3 months, just as a sign of respect, because, really, why would you do that? So that said, that's 4 very good reasons. And then, 5th, I don't have the time to do it. In order to play through that game, in the amount of time that I have available to me, I need to play through it and beat it in almost about a week. in order to have enough time to format everything. For every 15-minute video you guys see, it takes 2 hours of formatting time to get that ready. And I have to go back and I have to edit everything, I have to redo some jokes, I have to crunch everything down, cut out the parts that are boring, just me flailing around. And if I was going to do any longer, it'd take me about like 3 hours to do each video. If I was going to do like 20-minute videos, it's just unrealistic to expect me to be able to do that. It's nuts. And to do that all completely blind, with zero help from any walkthroughs, because none of them exist. Seriously, guys, you gotta be sadistic to ask me to do that. I mean, every time I've played a Frogwares game, it feels like I'm going back to a really, really abusive ex. Like, I know I'm just gonna end up with my money gone and sitting in a corner and crying because of the abuse I'm about to receive. But I keep thinking, maybe it'll be better this time. You guys don't want me to do that, do you? Do you? Now, with that said, I eventually did some thinking. And I realized that if there is one gaming company out there that I do not respect at all, well, that's Capcom. Seriously, Capcom, you guys need to get your fucking shit together. I don't know what the hell those people are thinking. After the shit they pulled with not with Platinum Studios, Clover Studios, which then became Platinum Studios, and just the shit they've been doing to their own franchises. I mean, they fired the guy who did Mega Man, I believe, and if you looked at Resident Evil 6, it's definitely not Resident Evil. It looks fun, I guess, but it's definitely not Resident Evil. And the way they treat everyone, and the DLC shit they pull, where everything is fucking $6 for a new DLC, that's fucking impossible. I bought Dragon's Dogma like the day it came out, and I was all hyped to play it. First thing I boot up, what does it say? DLC available! Day one, they already want you to pay for more shit. Seriously, fuck Capcom. But if there is one other company in the gaming industry that I do not respect at all, it is Frogwares. I just don't have any good memories of anything connected to Frogwares. They have... No company has pissed me off quite like them. Time in and time again. Every single time. So with that said, I do not feel obligated to... I do not feel at all obligated to respect the 3-month rule in connection to them. And I do feel obligated, though, to give you guys what you want, because this is the last thing, and this is for you guys. So, with that said, I have told you time and time again that there's absolutely no possible way in hell, or heaven, or any other realm of Cthulhu, Yig-Sothoth, or what have you, that I am ever going to play The Testament of Sherlock Holmes. I have lied.